night, I do this live thing. I answer questions. I talk to you about fitness things that I want to talk to you about, things that, not just things that I want to talk to you about, things that I think can help you. Now, one of the number one questions that I get is, what have I done to become the fittest 46-year-old alive? What are the things that I do on a day-to-day basis? And what are the things that I've done since I was 15 years old, 20 years old, 25 years old? So today, on today's live, we're going to break it all down. I'm going to tell you every single thing that I do so you have a roadmap, whether you're 20 years old or whether you're 45 years old, all right? So that's what's in store for tonight's live. But a couple of things before we get into the main topic. Ask questions. I will answer them, and I love questions. It takes a live in all kinds of incredible directions. So please ask your questions. And then also leave a comment, get the engagement up, give me supers. I need them. It's not even that I need them, but I do need them. Making content's a lot of work. It's a lot of investment. Supers help me make more content, get your membership to the channels, do all the things you know how to do to support me so I can keep doing these lives for you. You can support yourself by supporting me. All right, now that all the business is out of the way, let's talk about what makes me the fittest 46-year-old alive. And I want to preface that with just a global perspective here. I have never used a PED. I have never used TRT. I have never used HRT. I am 46 years old, 100% completely natural. 6'3", 191 centimeters. I'm 232 pounds. It's about 106 kilos. On a DEXA scan, I'm 10% body fat. I can deadlift 600 pounds. I can overhead squat 365 pounds. I can back squat over 500 pounds. I can row a 2,000 meter in 6 minutes and 15 seconds right now. Last year, I won the World Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Masters title, all right, at black belt. I'm the oldest person in the history of the Ultimate Fighter reality series. I did it at 43 years old, so I've got the credentials, okay? So, with all that said, the real question is, what do I do? So let's go back in the Wayback Machine, and let's start when I was 15 years old. I'm 46 now, so we're going to go over 31 years of history. When I was 15 years old, before that, I was bullied heavily. Kids punched me in the face, wedgied me, made fun of me, all of the things. I was bullied because I was shy. I was bullied because I was awkward. I was bullied because I played Magic the Gathering. Used to get my cards ripped up. There was a day in gym class where 4 bullies beat me up and broke my collarbone. From that moment on, I became ultra dedicated. I decided that my way out of bullying was to learn how to defend myself, was how to learn to be stronger, was how to learn how to fight. The wrestling team was my avenue. I started wrestling at 15. I would wrestle every single day. I was absolutely terrible. I lost every single match. But wrestling is the ultimate form of physical and psychological conditioning, okay? We were doing frog hops. We were doing split jumps. We were doing burpees. We were running stairs. I was doing a ton of functional exercise before functional exercise was a thing. And almost the entire program, because we didn't do weights on the wrestling team, the entire program was body weight type movements. I did that for an entire year. So that was when I was 15 years old. When I was 16, I did the same thing, but I started to get a little stronger. I started to get a little more fit. Now, I didn't have a good year wrestling. My first year, I went 0-40, by the way. I was terrible. My second year, I went 1-40. So 15 and 16, I'm doing a lot of body weight wrestling style conditioning. Again, frog hops, split jumps, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, lunges, burpees, running stairs, things like that. When I was 17 years old, I decided I needed to lift some weights. I need to get stronger. So I went into the weight room. I was the kid that got pinned under a 45-pound barbell. But I started working out. I started doing resistance training. So then my program picked up. I was doing resistance training at lunch, usually a 30 to 45-minute workout. And then in the afternoon later, I was doing the wrestling program, all right? So I was working out twice a day. I started to get stronger. I started to get bigger. I started to get more confidence. I started winning. My next year, my final year of high school, I was working out 3 legitimate times a day. I was doing weights at lunch or in my spare. I was wrestling after school. And then before bed, I would always do a core type of workout. I would do the same ab routine night after night after night. It was bicycle kicks, leg raises, sit-ups, things like that. Now I'm in university and I was still wrestling. So my program in university was a morning run, usually some sprints or like a long distance run. I would do weights in the afternoon, usually around lunchtime, and then I would wrestle when the school day was done, usually 4 to 6. I say the school day was done. I was in university. There was a couple of night classes I took, so it wasn't always after school, but those became my 3 workouts a day. Again, a morning cardiovascular workout, an afternoon weights routine, and then wrestling, which is the ultimate form of conditioning. That continued until I fought in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Now, what did that look like when I was training those days? Again, I would do the morning cardio conditioning routine. I would do weights in the afternoon. I would fight at night. There were times I was fighting twice a day. The days I would fight twice a day, the morning cardio would go away, but I was still training 3 legitimate times a day, sometimes 4. Because when you're fighting in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, you got to work on your stand-up, you got to work on your jiu-jitsu, you got to work on wrestling. Like legitimately, I was training 4 to 6 full hard hours a day. So that was my schedule. That's what built this massive foundation of fitness. And I want to put that out there because that's important. You see, with what you see me do now, it sits on that foundation. If you're just starting, if you're 46 and you're off the couch, your program's going to look a lot different and your progress is going to look a lot different because you don't have that base. All right, Rod0370, dude, thank you for all the great advice. The minute I cut out refined sugar and carbs from my diet, 4 days later, my overall inflammation was much better. My joints hurt a lot less. Awesome to hear that. Keep up with it. Stay away from processed food. So I continued this pattern until I was about 30, 31 years old, and that's the point I retired from fighting. After that, my workout program was usually 2 to 3 times a day. It was weights in the morning, weights at night, and then some type of grappling or Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the day. Singing, dancing, muscle man, hello. So again, I continued that 2 to 3 times a day pattern, although the volume was less. It wasn't 6 hours a day anymore. It was probably more like 3 to 4 hours a day. I continued that until now. Now I'm 46 years old. And I still do the trifecta of workouts in a day. I work out in the morning. I do jiu-jitsu in the afternoon. I work out at night, although the volume is a little less. My morning routine is about 40 minutes. My jiu-jitsu class is about an hour, and my nighttime routine is about 30 minutes. So if you add that up, and we got 40 minutes in the morning, then we got 30 minutes or 70 minutes, then an hour of jiu-jitsu, that's 130 minutes, maybe 140 minutes. We're looking at 2 to 2.5 hours a day. On the weekends, I usually only work out once on Saturday, once on Sunday. So as I've gotten older, that volume has come down because honestly, I can't do 6-hour days anymore. At 46 years old, there's no way I can recover from that. So that's how I trained when I was 15, when I trained when I was 20, when I trained when I was 30, and how I train now. All right? Along the way, a lot of my program has always been body weight functional type stuff. So that covers off the training. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm happy to answer. I'm an open book. Now, with sleep, I have always prioritized sleep. For the entirety of my life, I've strived to get 8 hours a night. Now, for some of you that know my history, you know I worked as a police officer. There was a couple of years I was in an anti-gang unit. Sleep was at a premium. There were nights that I got 4 hours. There was nights that I got 5 hours. There was weeks at a time where I was low on sleep. But every time I had time off, every time I had vacation, every time I could, I got as much as I could. I was the person that when I would come off night shift at 7 in the morning, I would sleep till 3 or 4 in the afternoon if I didn't have to go to court and listen. I would do everything I could to not have to go to court because I didn't want to mess with my sleep. So even when I was a police officer, even when I was working 16 to 20-hour days, I would still strive to get sleep. I'd say overall, my sleep score has been 98 my entire life. Sleeping in a completely blacked out environment, sleeping in a cold room, usually taking some type of sleep supplement like a magnesium before bed. I have always been dialed with my sleep. Warm feet, cold head, wear socks to bed, the whole nine, all right? So I've been dedicated to sleep my entire life. With nutrition now, I was going to say I've always eaten clean, but that wasn't true. I went through my periods in university when I was trying to mass gain, when I was eating Whopper Juniors from Burger King all the time, when I was going to Arby's, when I was doing KFC, when I was eating every calorie under the sun to try and get bigger. But for the most part, if you look at my 46 years of life on this planet, I've eaten really, really clean. Out of 46 years, if I was to take all the time I spent mass gaining, you go on these like 6-week, 3-month, 2-month, 4-month type of periods where you're eating everything in sight. If I was to add up all the mass gain periods in my life, all the times I've been trying to just get massive, I'm going to say out of 46 years, there was maybe 3 to 4 years of just filling your face with stuff. But even when I was filling my face with stuff, I was still eating good food. I was having eggs, I was having steak, I was having avocados. Like it wasn't junk food 3 or 4 times or 5 times a day. There was usually one meal that was just excessive to try and keep on calories. And you can get away. A lot of that when I was younger, right? That hasn't been like that for a long time. The biggest mass gain periods that I've had, I went through one in my mid-30s, and then I went through one in my early 20s. So those were the mass gain periods. But if you look at my 46 years of life, and even as a kid, when I was a kid, you got to understand, I was growing up in the early 80s. We didn't have all the junk that you have now, all the processed food that you have now. It wasn't readily available, and certainly my family didn't feed it to me. So I've always eaten a relatively clean diet, if you will. And the key is ingredient quality. No processed food, all right? So you got to be able to kill it. You got to be able to cook it over a fire. You got to be able to pluck it from a tree. And even when I've eaten bread, even when I've eaten pizza, now listen, I've had my Pizza Hut, I've had my Domino's, I've had my Little Caesars. I've done that type of thing. But for the most part, I've eaten absolutely clean. And I'd say especially in the last 6, 7 years, even the last 8 years, all right? Unfortunately, in 2017, I had a really bad gut disorder that I got, freak kind of thing, antibiotic resistant Clostridium difficile. And that kind of changed my approach to a lot of things. And a lot of that was brought on by stress, brought on by some other stuff. But since then, it has been ultra clean. All right. So an ultra clean diet. And then the other thing is I'm obsessed with recovery. Tom Swift, yeah, back on the job, Toronto Police and then Peel Regional Police. Peel Regional Police actually came first. Matt, Bobby, I love your no-nonsense, no BS approach to fitness and training. I appreciate that. I'm at work now, moving reports in circles as a detective, covering second shift, enjoying the show. Thank you for all the advice and videos. Really appreciate that. Where are you on the job? I'd love to know. And then Singing Dancing Muscle Man says, what if I can squeeze it out of an udder? Can I eat it then? I'm actually okay with dairy. As long as you don't have a dairy issue, I am okay with dairy. So that's how I've eaten. Now, I've also been hyper obsessed with recovery. I've been doing saunas. I have been doing ice baths before they were a thing. When I was a youngster way up north, we would have a sauna. We would jump in the cold lake in the winter in Canada. So I've been always doing the contrast type thing. I continued that throughout university. I continued it during my UFC career. I continued it up until now. I have always had exposure to saunas and cold. Another thing that I do, I drink mostly through glass or through a metal Stanley. I try to stay away from plastic. Now, I'm not perfect. You'll see me drinking out of a shaker cup every now and then. You'll see me, have water from a water bottle if I don't have any water, and that's fine. But for the most part, when I'm at home, I'm consuming really clean water. I even have an RO water filter here, a reverse osmosis water filter. So super, super helpful. What else? I do things like meditate. Now, not traditional meditation where I'm sitting with my legs crossed and thinking and stuff like that. But every day I engage in an hour of me time. I haven't woken up to an alarm clock in years. There are times I have to, right? When I travel, different things like that. But for the most part, I try to wake up without an alarm clock so I can just wake up to my natural kind of circadian rhythms. So I'm dedicated as anybody to recovery. Now, when you do these things in conjunction, you take the history of working out, you take how I train now, you take the sleep, you take the recovery, you take the diet, I am firing on all cylinders. And that's why my blood tests, I just had them done a few years ago. There's no reason to do them again because I don't have any of the symptoms of low T or anything like that. But a couple of years ago, I had my blood test done. My testosterone was 951 completely naturally, and that's a great marker for health. My blood stuff is stellar, although I do have to go for a physical, get my blood tested again. It's probably time I go for another colonoscopy just to make sure that I'm doing well. Tom Swift, I started to work out after years of getting lazy on the job. I'm 49, was 188 at 5'9", 25% body fat. Found you and started to watch. I really appreciate that. Listen, you have a long life ahead of you, and the job is hard. Make time for yourself now. And the best advice that I can give you, you're not going to save the world. I realized that early on into my police career. Make sure you protect your integrity, not integrity in terms of morals and stuff like that. What I'm talking about is your personal and health integrity. All right? Don't sacrifice that for any job or any person. Make sure you pay yourself first. There will always be another domestic call to go to. There will always be another report to take. There will always be another B&E. One of the things that I used to go do on the job, I never rushed anymore. Like when I was new, I'd get a B&E call, like lights and sirens, the whole thing, high stress. Towards the end of my career, I'd finish my lunch, man. Like if it wasn't an officer in need of assistance, I wasn't rushing there. I was taking care of myself. Don't skip meals. Don't skip your water. Don't engage in the beverages after work. Make sure you 100% look after yourself. You have to be selfish with this. And I started to get real selfish because the job, I've watched it eat people up. I've watched guys go through multiple divorces. I've watched guys battle alcoholism. I've watched guys fall apart, eat all the bad food, not work out, not take care of themselves, not prioritize sleep, get jammed up or try so hard to get extra overtime. I just wasn't into it, all right? So make sure you take care of yourself because you're going to retire soon. And you need to have a good life. All right. Ragnar, I don't respond to people like you. Like if we're a serious channel here, if you have something you want to talk about fitness related, if you want to have a serious talk, if you need help, I'm 100% here for you, but I am not here for the nonsense. So let's just be clear about that. Michael Glassmaker, my guy with the super, thank you very much. I really appreciate you and your efforts. And you know what I appreciate about you the most is that you lead by example and you're doing the work every day. You're not just doing the programming, you're looking after your health in all regards. I wish more people were like you. If everyone was like you, Genuinely, I mean this world would be a better place. If everyone focused on their own health, their own happiness, this world would be an incredible place to live. Tom Swift, so right, brother. God, family, body. I did 10 years, Army MP, been a city cop since 2006, planning to work until I'm 59. Homicides and special victims are my life now. I get it. But yeah, make sure, and listen, thank you, by the way, for all of your service. I really do believe that one of the reasons that we can live the life we live is people like you. So greatly, greatly appreciated it. Tom, are you on Instagram by any chance? Let me know, because I might have something for you. All right. Bruno D. Yemen, no wars. Let's see. Singing, dancing, muscle man, all hail. Michael Glassmaker, $4.99 dono. Yep. Michael, David G. Ortiz. Thank you for being you and always sharing, motivating, and encouraging us to do better. I'm 5'7", around 260 to 265. Yes, I'm beyond overweight, out of shape. I'm beat up with arthritis. Where do I start? Here's the deal. 3 things you can control right now, David Ortiz. 1, Tom Swift. Thank you for the super. Really, really appreciate it. Love you, my man. These supers help me so much. You have no idea. They just actually, more than anything, they make me feel really, really good. Tom, on Insta, it's at Bobby Maximus. The second you're tuned off this live, go send me a DM. When I get off, I will check, I will reply, and then we can start a little bit of a conversation. I'd love to give you some advice, and maybe we can work together, and maybe I can help you. All right. Back to David Ortiz. There's 3 things you can control. 1, you can sleep more. I promise you, you can get 7 to 8 hours sleep in a completely blacked out environment. Go black out your bedroom, get some blackout curtains, get some blackout shades, take some electrical tape, tape it over the LED light on the TV. You can start with your sleep hygiene and your sleep quantity, 7 to 8 hours a night. You do that right now. Number 2, you can make better decisions eating. Don't tell me you can't. That's 100% a choice. Imagine the only food left in the world to eat was steak, fish, chicken, arugula, red berries, and avocado. You would figure it out. So I want you to eat healthy, all right? You got to be able to murder it and cook it over a fire. You have to be able to pluck it from a tree or a plant. No more bread, no more pizza, no more Doritos, no more ice cream, no more soda. Like, you know what's good for you and what's bad for you. No more. You can make that decision right now. Now, those are the easy things. The hard thing's going to be the exercise, but you can commit to that. And you don't have to crush a workout tomorrow. You're beat up with arthritis. You're overweight. You're tired. You don't know where to start. Set yourself aside 60 minutes a day. That's it. You can swim. You can go on an easy bike. You can go for a walk. You can have a couple of light dumbbells. You can do a little bit of bench press. You can do some arm curls. You can do some overhead presses. You can do some bent rows. You can start to practice. If you're completely lost, I actually have a program on the Ladder app. You need iOS for it. You could sign up for Team Maximus. There's a link in my YouTube bio. You could sign up for that. You could do that a few days a week. But I need you to dedicate an hour of your day. You need to dedicate an hour of time to do some exercise. If you can do those 3 things, I'll bet you in 6 months, you can lose 60 pounds. You can feel like a completely different person and rebuild yourself from the inside out. Now, is that easy? No, but it's simple. An hour a day, you know what that is? 4% of your day. The rest of the time, you got to eat healthy and you got to sleep. That's all you have to do. If you can do those things, you will fix this problem. That's where you start. Again, not easy, but super, super simple. Okay? There's your path. That's it. So you know what I do now to become the fittest 46-year-old on the planet? That's what you're going to do at your starting point. Now, yeah, you're not doing the 2.5 or 3 hours of working out a day. You're not having the sauna every day. You're not having the ice bath every day. You're not doing Normatec boots every day, right? The massage boots, right? But if you just start there in 6 months, you will be 100% shocked at where you are. And I do this type of work with people all the time. I have an elite one-on-one mentorship group. I write people custom programming. I help them with nutrition. I guide them with sleep. I act as the accountability police to text back and forth every day. Michael Glassmaker is actually part of that program. But you can hire a coach like me. Like, we can do that too. If you're interested in that, just DM me on Instagram. Say you saw my live on YouTube, you're interested in my one-on-one training program, and I can help you, all right? I don't accept everybody. You've got to be serious. But if you are, I will work with you, and we can make some progress together. So if you need help, I am there for you. So that's it for the live tonight. That's everything I do. Full disclosure. I know that seems unreal, but put this in perspective, right? How did you become so fit, Bobby Maximus? I did one simple thing. I worked out 4 to 6 hours a day for 31 years, ate healthy and focused on sleep. Like, when you word it like that, you're like, this guy's insane. But that's all I did. It's not that complicated. You know why people are constantly looking for hacks, TRT, magic pills, gimmicks, the whole thing? Because they're not doing that type of work. They're not putting in that kind of effort. That's the reality. Like, if everyone did what I do, this world would be insanely fit. There'd be a lot of people more fit than me. That's just reality. So it's been another awesome live. Thank you for talking Bullet Pretzels. What's up, brother? What's up to you? Jordan Rutherford, respect. Keep spreading healthy ways. I really, really appreciate that. I'm just trying to keep stuff real. Just give people the real truth and give them some hope that they can be better. Again, you want to work with me? DM me on Instagram. We can talk about that. Maybe you can get accepted to my program. I don't accept everybody. And use this information. Like the advice I just gave David G. Ortiz. Listen, if all of you followed that advice, you worked out hard an hour a day, you ate right and slept better, the world would be, your world, most importantly, would be a much better place. We can all benefit from that. Tom Swift, thank you for the super and thank you for your service. Michael Glassmaker, thank you for your super and your constant support. Listen, another way you can help me, share the channel, all right? Share the channel, like, subscribe, supers, all of those things. Bullet Pretzels, starting jiu-jitsu with my 3-year-old daughter. I love that. Especially that your daughter is going to get to see her dad leading by example. Like, you have no idea. I mean, maybe you do. That's why you started, but you have no idea the amount of benefit that she's going to get from this. So I'm proud of you. Respect and love. Singing, dancing, muscle man, thanks for the constant engagement, the constant support. All right. So here's the deal. Supers, memberships to the channel. If you can't do that for whatever reason, and I think everybody could, but if you can't do that, at least go to my last video, the 5 worst exercises for men over 40, I think is what I called it. Leave a comment, like it, share it with your friends, spread the word. Listen, we here are about no gimmicks, no hacks, no shortcuts, no 3 easy payments of $9.99, just tried and true methods that work. Thank you for spending some of your Monday night with me. If you're from a different part of the world, maybe it's Tuesday already, but love you all. Singing, dancing, muscle man, comment whatever you want. Say something great exercises. Love these exercises. I stay away from these exercises. You know what to do? Don't just comment. Watch the video. I promise you, you like this, you will like that. And the rest of you want to work with me, get in touch with me on Insta. Maybe you can apply. And that's it. Have a great Monday night. And I am off to watch, I don't know, we might start rewatching Stranger Things. We might play Final Fantasy IV. Who knows? We might get a little crazy. Austin Peterson, my guy, coming in with the last super. Hopefully not the last super of the show, but the last minute super. Really, really appreciates that. So thank you. Stay on the path. Look forward to working with you again soon. Richard B., thanks from Ottawa. Really, really appreciate that. I once had a fight in Gatineau, Quebec, right across the river. And that's all I got. That is all I got right now. So have an amazing Monday night. Thank you for spending some of your time with me, and use this advice to make yourself better. I promise you it won't be easy, but it will be worth it.